Well, greetings, people of the internet. Unky Joe here. Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, we're gonna upgrade something. That's right, you figured it out. We're going to take this unit down here, which is my DVD ripping station, among other things, and we're going to take it from Windows 10 to Windows 11. And we're going to see if everything works after we're done. So let's get the video started right now. So the goal today is going to be to get this machine upgraded to Windows 11. Now, right now, let's see what we're running here. This PC, go to Properties. So we are running an AMD Ryzen 5 2600 6-core processor, 3.4 gig, 16 gig of RAM. And then on the video card, let's come down here. Let's see if we can go to Device Manager. I think it's an RX 570. So actually I'm wrong. The display is an RX 580 series from AMD. So we're going to try and upgrade from Windows 10 Pro. I'm currently run 21H1. Initially installed it on June of 2021. So, and we're at OS build 19043.1237. So, the first thing I want to do is come here to my applications folder. Now, I'm logged in as the domain administrator, which means I also have administrative privileges on this Windows 10 machine. So what I'm going to do is come in here under applications. I'm going to sort it by name. I'm going to go to my Microsoft Partner Downloads. And in here I have Windows 11, the release, which was released on October 5th. I don't know if you can see it, but it's October 5th, 2021. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste it here to a folder called W11. So we'll do that. We'll paste it. And we'll wait for it to copy. So what I'm going to attempt to do is do a direct upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11. And hopefully I won't get a third of the way through it before Microsoft tells me I don't have something enabled. Because what I haven't done is I have not gone out to the BIOS and verified that I have Secure Boot enabled or TPM2. I guess maybe that would not be a bad idea to do that, huh? So after we get the file copied, I'll go ahead and restart the computer, and then we'll go into the setup and we'll make sure TPM2 and Secure Boot are enabled, and we'll make sure we've got those settings set. Now this is the unit I also use to rip all of my DVDs. Like right now I'm currently ripping my Stargate series, so I need to be able to still use Make MKV and that kind of thing. All right, so it's done with a copy, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the BIOS, and I'll take you with me. All right, so we're in the BIOS now. Let's just go over to system real quick. So it's a B450 Aorus M motherboard. We're at F51F is our BIOS. That was released on 7/2 of 2020. And what I want to do is go through all of these settings and make sure we have things like Secure Boot set up. Let's see, fast boot, CSM support. So what we're going to need to do is turn CSM support off. So we hit enter and we'll disable it. So I'm going to save that and reset, and then we'll let it boot into Windows 10, and we'll try to do the Windows 11 install, and we'll see where we get with that. Not making any promises. Well, fortunately it doesn't look like we've broken anything because it is coming up to the login screen. So I'll go ahead and log in again. Now what I did was I just copied the ISO over to the NVMe SSD drive we have on this machine, and then on the C drive, and then I'm just going to run it from there. I'll mount it and run it from there. Now what's going to happen is that Teams is going to come up here in a second. So there we go, there's Teams. So we're just going to shut that down. Now I'm not going to minimize any running programs that I have down here. I'm not going to turn anything off because I want this experience to be as close to what the end user will experience, for the average consumer user. So we're going to go into the local drive C. There's our Windows 11 folder. And then I'm just going to right click on this, and I'm going to open with Windows Explorer, because I have 7-zip on there and I don't want 7-zip to open the program. And then once I've mounted the CD-ROM drive, which is what it does, it mounts it as drive, now as you'll see, is drive F. So I just go in here and I run setup. And then just like I would any other Windows install, I follow the on-screen prompts. So I am going to join the customer exploration improvement program, or whatever they call that. Okay, so it tells me the updates are installed, but Windows 11 setup needs to do something with them. And so I'm just going to leave this alone. It's going to go out and check my PC. And it says the PC must support TPM 2.0. So what I'm going to need to do is figure out why this is not supporting TPM 2.0. So I believe I have to come over here to AMD CPU FTPM, and I have to actually enable that. So I've done that now. So now let's boot, save the config and reset. Let's go back into Windows 10, and we're going to try and install Windows 11 again one more time. So bear with me through the boot up phase. We'll have it soon. And I've got some idiots behind me watching me do this live. That's one of the benefits of being a Patreon member. You could actually sit in Discord and watch me do this as I film it, as I make the sausage, so to speak. So we're going to go ahead and log back in, and then we'll mount the DVD drive again, and maybe we'll get lucky this time. We'll wait for Teams to come up, and then we'll close it, and we'll run the setup. Yes, please. So it's going to restart the setup, and then it's going to check our PC, and hopefully TPM 2. Good news. So it looks like it's going to work. So I enabled secure boot and I enabled TPM 2 by flipping that switch in the BIOS. It's going to go out and get some updates now, and hopefully all will be well. Yeah, I want to see if it works with everything out of the box. The way I've got this unit configured, if Windows 11 is truly ready for prime time, then it should work with probably 98% of what I have installed on here. And that's going to be, you know, the end user, if they were to go buy Windows 11 and upgrade their machine, they would expect that, right? So granted, it is a little early, and you probably, and again, I'm looking at it from the perspective of an average user. They're not going to read the release notes and know that you need to go to your graphics manufacturer and make sure that there are updates. And you know, most people are not aware of that. They just want to get Windows whatever, and they want to load it. That's where us professionals come in, because we know there's more to it behind the scenes. But as Windows has progressed, and I've been using Windows since 3.0 Windows, and it's progressed and it's gotten better and better every time, you know, especially about being moved from one piece of hardware to another. It used to be like in Windows 7, you were afraid to move your machine to any new hardware because it would break Windows, and you'd end up, in the long run, it was easier to do a clean load than it was to try and get through all those iterations of updates to get it to work. Or to redetect the hardware abstraction layer, the HAL layer. So, but they seem to have really improved that in Windows 10, because I've taken from physical to virtual, back to physical machines, and I've never had a version of Windows 10 that just wouldn't run that I can remember. So hopefully that's the same with Windows 11, and that's what it should do. It should just allow you to just go from one version to another, and you know, in a perfect world, all your applications would work. And I think that's the expectation that's going to come. Most people are going to expect that. So, all right, so we're just going to let it run here. There's no need to keep the camera going, because the longer I keep the camera rolling, the more I'm liable to babble about absolutely nothing. So we'll let this run. If something eventful comes up, I'll come back and we'll start filming and we'll talk about it. All right, so we've got a blank screen. It's working great. Actually, I'm on Discord right now, and one of the guys on Discord could see the computer behind me. I couldn't. He goes, "Hey, it rebooted." So I rushed over here to start filming again, and now it's rebooting again. So hopefully it will boot up to Windows 11 or to the startup of Windows 11, and perhaps it'll even work, dare I say. Nope, 50%. I've got some programs on here that I'm real curious to see if they're still going to work after this Windows 11 upgrade. DriveBender is not one of those. As you know, we talked to the developer of DriveBender, and I announced it on my live stream last weekend that they do have a patch coming out for the current version of DriveBender, which is 3700 or 3.7. They'll have that out hopefully by the 22nd of October, and then they have a new beta version of DriveBender coming out. Fortunately, DriveBender is not on this machine, but I do have things like Make MKV to rip my DVDs and my Blu-rays, and then I have FileBot, which is a file renaming program. It's a lot easier to go through, and especially when you're dealing with like seasons of DVD movies or shows, it'll go through and name them automatically for you. It's not free, but I do need it to work, because that mainly what this machine does is it handles my DVD rips and any ancillary stuff that I have to do computer-wise, if, for example, if I'm rendering a video or something on the machine across the way from me. So that's why it's going to be key to having this machine up and running. The other thing this machine will be doing, I'm going to replace the monitors on this machine. They're quite old. I'm going to get some nicer 24-inch monitors. And this is also going to serve as my gaming machine when I just want to kick back and relax and do a little gaming. We're going to do it on here. I figured that would be an excellent test for Windows 11 as well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please wait. Please wait. Please wait a little longer. Please wait. Please wait. Voila, we're all done. Everything works great. Okay, end of video. Just kidding. Okay, so there we are. Time, date. Got an icon down here that my network connection is working. Let's see if I can log in. Now, I don't have any speakers. I do have speakers, but they're not currently connected to the unit because I'm too lazy to crawl down under the bench and plug them in. Basically, that's why they aren't working. But I do have these. Will these help? Okay. All right, so it might take a few minutes. So this is Microsoft time. This will take a few minutes later. Do not turn off your PC. Why would I turn off my PC in the middle of booting it off? So I've got more to say. So far my experience with Windows 11, not the release candidate, not the beta, but the actual version has been positive. The bench unit over there has been running Windows 11 since October the 5th, and I have been running videos through there under Handbrake, and it has never missed a beat. So let's see how we've done here. Now keep in mind too, this was running my Minecraft server. So we're actually going to pull this up after I log in as myself. Right now I'm logged in as Adama. I just wanted to see if everything worked. It looks like it's got the time and the date correct. So let's go under File Explorer and let's go into this PC, and I can see my network drives are mapped, so that part's working. Okay, so now what I want to do, I don't want to use Teams. I'm going to log out, and I'm going to log in as my normal account now that the update is done. All right, so now I'll go ahead and log in as me. There we go. And now it should set up my desktop. Take a minute or so. One of the things I notice right away is it puts it into the light theme. So we'll go take care of that probably first and foremost. Oh no, it kept my theme. Good. Good. So that was Adama's theme. My theme is a dark theme, and it appears to have kept it. Yeah, it looks good. Let's bring up Task Manager. So we just right click on the start menu and go to Task Manager, and let's see how it's doing. 6 cores, 12 threads. It's using about 3 3.5 gig of memory out of 16. It sees my 10 gig network connection, my Mellanox. It sees my Radeon RX 580. Now keep in mind that Microsoft announced there are some issues with both AMD CPUs and AMD video cards running a little bit slower in gaming under Windows 11. So, you know, the first thing I want to do is go out to AMD and I want to download their updated driver for Windows 11. So let me do that now. And basically, I'm just going to type in B450 AMD driver. And it should take me right to the first choices, AMD's website, B450 drivers. And there is a driver for Windows 11. So I am going to download that driver. And we'll save it to our downloads folder. Okay, and I will tell you from experience, that is definitely something you want to do. Now, as far as the video goes, I don't think they have one available. Let me extract these here. There we go. I don't believe they have new drivers for the video yet. Now, that was odd. It popped it. You saw that it popped up the menu. Yeah, I will tell you from experience, so always go out and make sure you have updated chipset drivers with AMD. You could have all kinds of squirrely things happening if you don't. And it'll check it for compatibility. And then what we'll do is we'll reboot, and then we'll do updates after that. I want to make sure I've got all the updates in place before I try to do anything else. And then I'm going to see if we're going to test 2 or 3 different applications and see if they're still working. Especially Make MKV, because it makes use of a DLL that Windows may have changed. So it may be that we have to reload it, but I haven't tried it. I haven't spoken with anybody else who's used Make MKV. I don't think a lot of people actually rip their DVDs anymore. I am a dying breed, that is for sure. Now, the other thing I'm going to need to do on this unit, I may or may not have had the Synology video come out yet where I replaced one of my Office applications with one from Synology, but I'll need to install that software on here as well. I have not tested it under Windows 11, so that again is another reason why I've decided to go ahead and update a unit that I use on a fairly regular basis to Windows 11, so you don't have to. Because I remember when I upgraded from Windows 8 to 10, it was it really wasn't that bad of an experience, come to think of it. I was trying to think the one thing that just drove me insane. It was something about a menu didn't work properly when I went from Windows 8 to 10. But a clean load took care of that, so that probably tells you what it was. So AMD says it's been installed successfully. We're going to go ahead and restart. All right, so we've gone through a reboot. Let's see if we can log back in. We'll go out and see if there have been any updated video drivers. I don't think there have been, but well, actually, we'll do Windows Update first. All right, so it's back up. I'm waiting for Teams to pop up here. But we should be able to come down here to the Start button and go up to, where is it? Settings. Start, Settings. Yes. Now, I'm going to go to Personalization, and I'm going to set it on the dark theme. Let's see, Custom Dark and App Mode. I like my app mode to be in dark. All right, we'll come back up here to System, and then right here they've got a really easy way to go to Windows Update, and I'm sure there have been some updates. Yes, there are. So I'm going to go ahead and install them now. So I'm not going to have you sit around while I'm doing this. I'll go ahead and get all the updates installed, and then we'll come back and we'll look for if there are any updated AMD drivers for the video card. And if not, then we'll proceed to testing the applications. All right, so all the updates are done. So let's go out to AMD's website and see if they see AMD RX 580 drivers. All right, so aha, there is a version. Now what's a little troublesome about this is a optional version. So it's 21.10.2 optional. It was released 2 days ago on the 11th. And I know, I'm running Windows 11. I have no room to talk about worrying about a buggy driver. But I'm wondering if the older version will work on, they have a 21.8.2, which is the recommended WHQL for Windows 10 that was released in September. However, I'm wondering if this adrenaline option doesn't have something to do with the slow speeds they're having. So I'm going to take a wait and see attitude. I'm not going to update this driver on my AMD video card. Let's go out to Device Manager and look at the driver that Microsoft loads by default. And I'll tell you, so this is a driver back from June 17th, 2021. It's version 27.20.22.001.14011. That just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to add to my issues. And I'll do a little research on this 21.10.2. And if any of you know anything about this version or have used it successfully, leave a comment down in the comments section. So we're going to move on from here. Now what I'm curious to see is does I use a program called Fork to run my Minecraft server. Now right now my Minecraft server is off, so I'm going to attempt to fire it up. Why the hell not? Let's see what happens. So far, it does not look like it has broken anything. It seems to be coming up normally. Now, of course, I won't know unless I had people in there playing Minecraft. But no errors. It came right up. So I'll just minimize that, leave that running. Now, the big one I'm concerned about is Make MKV. So let's see if we can actually put a DVD in here, because these are the next ones I need to rip. And what I'm concerned about is and I can't tell you what I'm concerned about. You know what I mean? I'm not allowed to talk about it on YouTube. But in order to rip a DVD or a Blu-ray, something has to happen that we're not allowed to talk about. So I want to make sure this works. All right, so we'll pop the disc in. We'll see if Make MKV can read it. And then I use a program. I alluded to the fact that I use a program called FileBot to rename my episodes, like you'll see when I come to rip this disc. So I'm just going to click on it under Make MKV. It's going to go out and read it. So what I do is I just rip them, and I let Make MKV name it whatever it wants. And I go out later and I run a program called FileBot, and I drag the files into FileBot and allow it to search online for what it wants the season and episode numbers to be, how it wants them to be worded. That way I can just drag them into my media library, and Plex and MB will automatically identify them properly. So on this disc I have 4 chapters. I have 4 different DVDs to rip. And I'm just going to leave everything selected. It's already picked a directory where it's going to put it. Let's click on it. And it's working. So that's a good sign. This is one of the programs I was worried about. And like I said, I'm sure there's an update, or will be an update soon for Make MKV. I went ahead and paid $50 for Make MKV in it. So if you're going to be doing a lot of DVDs or Blu-rays, it's a good investment, folks. And it always says Make MKV beta. It's been in beta for forever. It's not a beta, but long story short, just pay the $50 for it. It's worth every penny, in my opinion. You won't find a better piece of software out there that does what this program does. So we'll let this run, and then we'll come back and we'll try to run FileBot and see if it can identify these episodes for me. All right, so it's the next day here, and I let the computer go to sleep overnight, and we'll see. I'm going to log back in. All right, so it seems to have recovered. And so now I'm going to run the program called FileBot, which is what I use to basically rename my my ripped DVDs, as you can see, maybe not, but it calls them Title 1, Title 2, Title 3, etc. So what I do is just drag these over to this little box on the FileBot, and then I go under Episodes, and I put in, this is Stargate SG-1, and this is Season 5, I believe I'm ripping now. Let's see. So yeah, it's Season 5, Volume 1, and I go by the DVD date, and then find, and it should come up and tell me to verify that. I tell it yes, select, and then I'm just going to verify that the episodes on the back of the DVD cover here are the same as they are on here. So Enemies, Threshold, Ascension, and The Fifth Man are all correct. So I'm going to highlight all of those, right click, send them to rename, and then click on rename, and voila, they should rename over here, and they did. So that's as far as I'm going to test this right now. Like I said, it seems stable to me. Time will tell, but it seems like all the programs that I need to work on this right now are working. Now, I'm going to be making some other changes to this. We're going to be removing Office 365 as we convert over to Synology's software to run our business on. I'm going to continue to rip DVDs and Blu-rays here and see how that goes, and if I have any trouble with it. And like any other upgrade, you really won't know until you get into using the computer on a daily basis. I'm going to go ahead and leave the settings alone. It put it to go back into sleep mode for me. So I don't know that that's something I'm going to use moving forward, but I do want to use less electricity, and it's a lot easier sometimes telling this thing to go into sleep mode than it is remembering for me to shut this thing down at the end of the workday. So we'll see how it goes, but so far so good. No runs, no drips, no errors. My upgrade experience was good. I haven't had, like I said, I haven't noticed any problems. And let's see, I've still got my Minecraft server running. Yeah, I don't have anybody on it because it's not open to the public, but I'm going to go ahead and stop it and shut it down. I totally forgot I even had that running, so I'll go ahead and shut that down. But I guess I'm going to end the video here with this information, and do with it what you will. But would I recommend upgrading to Windows 11? Yeah, if you have a machine that you can devote to the Windows 11 upgrade, go for it. I don't think you're going to have any major problems, but if it's your daily driving machine, I would wait. I would wait till they get new drivers out, and you know, everybody's situation is going to be different. So, but personally, I'm going to run it on this unit. We'll see how it does, and I'll keep you updated as time goes on. So there you go. The update's all done. Everything's working, well, pretty much as it should. And I would expect no less from an upgrade to from one version of an operating system to another. So I've got Windows 11 over here running now. I have Windows 11 running on the bench as well. So that unit on the bench is more for experimental stuff. This one is like a daily driver in addition to my main workstation across from me, which is still running Windows 10 and will for the foreseeable future. But really the only way to get a feel for a new operating system is to use it. So that's what I'm going to be doing over here. And it'll give us, it'll give us a way to compare and see what maybe Microsoft maybe has missed something with the Windows 11 update. I don't know. Time will tell. But don't be afraid to jump in with both feet. If you've got a spare machine you can put it on, that's what I would recommend you do. So anyway, we hope you found the video entertaining and informative. As always, please give us a thumbs up down below. Leave your comments down in the comments section. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that notification bell to be notified of new videos when they come out. Let's see, donate if you're so inclined, PayPal, Patreon, and the YouTube join function. Please come back and see us again, and don't forget, we'll see you at Windows 11 probably on the other side.